Good afternoon. My name is Külli, and I was invited today to speak about what I have been doing for the last 5 years. I stopped working at Excellent in 2021. After that time, I have had the chance to see different companies in Estonia from different perspectives, and my objective has been to make finance work in these companies smooth, logical, and automated. My main tool for this is business software that the company is already using. Or if they're not using a good business software already, we have maybe changed the software they're using. As always, finances and management are tightly linked. If the finance department is managing their work in a smooth way and seamlessly, this facilitates better management decisions, and the managers can take decisions quicker than previously. But let us take a look at some examples. One of my previous examples was from real estate investment sector, where I had the chance to cooperate with a company involved in business real estate investments. One of the biggest problems for such a company, or should I call it a challenge, is that the accounting, finance department and management have to deal with a large number of different companies or subunits. It's not 1 to 5, but several dozens of companies. And if we are talking about our pet topic, which is manual work, I'm fed up with this phrase that the company does too much manual work, this is very expensive, and the like. So we wanted to tackle this manual work and the invoices. There were 5 accountants, 1 invoice mailbox. All 5 accountants on a daily basis were working on processing the invoices, forwarding to each other, entering them into the right database. And accountants are people, after all, humans, and being human comes with making mistakes. And what happened? The invoices were under the wrong company, some got neglected, some got misplaced in a wrong folder. So there was a mess. But there's a very simple solution to stop this. For example, using an electronic operator for purchase invoices. There shouldn't be companies today who would not be using software or interfaces for managing purchase invoices or supporting documents. So where we ended up with this company. So previously there were 5 accountants working hard every day. There were confirmation rounds. There were all kinds of settings. But then we ended up in a situation where the accountants saw this accounting document in the right software, in the right place. For example, they saw that from this company we have 5 purchase invoices. We need to approve them. Job done. There's no need to manage the invoices, send them around, etc. And this manual work is a large source of cost, because if you imagine the human hours spent on this, this is expensive. Marko Kull mentioned one important aspect that I hadn't thought about previously. He said that good control on the processes of expenditure and documents is not a convenience service, but helps to tackle cyber threats. And of course, we have these phishing scams today. There are so many of them, and if you have several dozen companies to deal with and you haven't mapped your processes, the path of an accounting document, then I can only imagine how much money the scammers have managed to defraud from these companies. One should think about this for sure. Then we should maybe talk about real estate development. Often there's an accounting department, there's a CFO, a construction manager, and management board. So there are 4 components, and an accountant enters the data and submits declarations. The head of finances needs to build the reports from the data available, and I mean accounting documents, sales documents, bank transactions, registers, clients, suppliers, ledger entries. These are the data that we are talking about. And this takes us to an important point. Business software is not somewhere we should just enter this data into. For example, it's not accounting software, it's business software with almost unlimited possibilities. We were just discussing that there are more than 900 reports. Everyone will find the reports they need from among these. If this is not available as a standard solution, you can create your own report template. And with this company, we involved the financial manager and CEO in setting up the accounting system. We tried to find out what kind of data and in which form they wish to receive. And what happened was that declarations, which are very important, all companies have to file them on time. The declarations started to generate themselves just by themselves. There's a click of a button to send them to the tax board. You do not need to recheck it because the declaration has been filling itself along the month, and you have nothing else to do but to approve it. And as a bonus, all the remarks, suggestions made by the management board and the CFO on how to better enter the data and what they wish to see, these do not constitute extra work for the accountants. You just set up your system in a way that on these occasions just use the rule that I have predefined for you, and you get what you need. This is especially important when talking about bank transactions. And if you are consistent in entering your data into this predefined structure, the head of financing has no need to process the data again in Excel. And with this example, what we saw was that one FTE became unnecessary. The software provided all the data that was necessary in a quick manner, so one job became redundant. And whereas the focus of the previous example was on the right structure set up in the system, but now the question is how, on the basis of the data, one could manage future decisions. A construction company that used outsourced accounting service, as previously, the main emphasis was on compliance with legal requirements of the accounting operation. But as we know, this is not enough for making good management decisions, so that your reports are in line with the legislative requirements. So the company got in touch with me, so I would help build a set of data that can help them project cash flows, potential problems, liquidity. These are critical for the majority of companies. They had already integration with construction software. The next step was to adopt excellent books and start using all their possibilities. And this was not so difficult. They needed to amend existing data, improve incoming data entering the software, and the result being fewer Excel spreadsheet and better structured data. So the management had no need to check data from the previous month, but were able to project cash flows for the future with the existing data, project liquidity, potential problems, because the data is updated in 24-hour cycles. You do not need the data from the last 6 months to project what may happen in the future. And this is one of the benefits of automation, that the manager can project the future, and finance specialists can also make projections and analysis. Then there's one more example of a restaurant. Very similar. In the business software, they only generated reports, but the data did not reflect the business model of the company. There is the bar, the kitchen, the administration, a lot of payroll information. Information changes on a daily basis. You have a varying number of guests, you have a varying number of accounting documents in terms of amounts and items, and you have to monitor your staff costs on a daily basis. It's not just drawing up monthly reports. You need to just have a constant overview. So the biggest challenge was making the data reflect the actual business model. Sales invoices, supply invoices were put into the right structure. Different units were separated different sources of sales revenue were structured. So the Excel work part diminished, and the manager was able to use existing information in decision making. So where I would like to get with my presentation is not that this is not about convenience, that the financial experts have less work to do, but it's a management instrument. The manager has quick and checked information from one software solution. It's not in anyone's inbox, Excel spreadsheets, or elsewhere. I really encourage everyone to use all the opportunities provided in business software. If it seems like a lot of extra work when you start doing that, and you're used to doing things in a certain way, then I advise you to use shortcuts and find out what else can be used and not to get stuck in your routines. With all this, the automation has become more prominently on display with the AI, but we have had it for 15 years. Luckily, now we are drawing more attention to it, maybe not in the right context, starting from the AI, but if you have your data in a well-structured manner, the systems are in place, and this is the foundation that can be given to AI for further processing. You need to be systematic and consistent and use all the opportunities provided by business software, and only then link it to AI. So this was my tip to you.
Thank you so much, Külli. Come a few steps closer. We've received a few questions. So, first in, first out, principle used here. Is there a universal pattern that is valid for all companies in all sectors in terms of shortcomings and solutions? Yes. The problem is the same. The problem is that the data is fragmented, something in the mailbox, something in the Excel sheets of the CFO, something in the head of the CEO. So all this information has to be brought together. Everybody should have the same understanding, the same information in front of them, also in terms of business software. So this is the common denominator here. Okay, you spoke about cost invoices, but what is the most usual, most common hidden manual work that the managers don't see? Well, the managers don't see what the accountants do on a daily basis. The accountant might be working at home, in the office, but if someone needs to do the same routine 5 times a week, 5 times a month, well, it's a cost. It's a paid hour for the accountant. And the manager perhaps thinks that, well, this is accounting. They know how they, do their job. Okay, but if you think from the manager's perspective, what is the biggest change in terms after the automation? Is it the business growth? Is it what? Well, you really save on costs. It happens in due time. First of all, the manager gets information in real time. They don't just analyze the last month, but they can analyze the situation as it was yesterday evening or this morning. or at lunchtime. So this is a restaurant business example. They already know if they have tables booked for tonight, whatever. They can already see the cost reports, expenses reports in the software. They have a clear picture of their business. And of course, the financial benefits are as a bonus here. Okay, what about resistance? I understand that people, when they see you entering a company, they might be, resistant. Well, yes, of course, people think that they keep busy. My hands are full. When and how do I take the time to learn something new? But this is the time that you really need to take to invest into this, and the resentment comes from the fact that people are used to do their 5 routines a day. It doesn't take me that much time, really. Why do I have to spend 5 hours to learn something new? But actually, it's fun to learn. Okay, if you go to a company and an accountant becomes redundant, or 2 of them, how do you call it, layoffs or restructuring work? Well, we call it restructuring work because the accountant can take the place of the CFO. Okay, and one last question. If someone felt that they need a service like that, then do you take orders? Do you expect them to approach you? Yes, of course, we can always negotiate. Sometimes it's enough to just tick one box, just to change one setting. And all this takes place in excellent books? Yes. Okay, many thanks.